My name is Arda, and this is my presentation on the types of participation and their effects. Let's get started. In this presentation, I will be talking about participant structures, pinpointing and mapping participation, ratified and unratified participants, underlife, individual repertoire and shared participant structures, and analyzing participant structures in classroom interaction. I will be explaining all of these headlines and giving a few examples on each. First, let's start with the participant structures. What are participant structures? These are classroom talk arrangements that might include the whole class or small groups or even individual work that shape who speaks, to whom, and how often. According to the Phillips and Warm Springs study from the MOOC of this week, students participated less when the teacher addressed the whole class, and the teacher interacted with only a group of select students. And the students participated more when working independently and working in peer groups. This is because the students usually get feel more included when everyone individually attempts something special or feels like they all have this personal connection to the class. And why it works that way is because students learn through silent observation. This practice happens peer-to-peer and not publicly, and speaking to authority in front of others is avoided because when these uh, are present in the classroom, this gives students more motivation and uh, more chance to show themselves freely. And the teaching implication for this is individual engagement equals active learners, and public engagement equals more reluctant students. Engagement depends on how interaction is organized, and organization is very important on the effects and outcomes of this uh, engagement in students, the classroom. Next, we have mapping participation in classroom interaction. Uh, the reason we map participation is because it reveals who speaks, how often, and to whom, and it makes engagement and silence more visible to the teacher and the classroom. Uh, there are teacher to students participation patterns. In a teacher-fronted lecture, it usually goes like teacher, 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 then student. This might be a question or a statement by a student, and then the teacher answers uh, according to that student. In this scenario, the teacher mostly dominates the talk. He is the one, the teacher is the one talking the most in the classroom. And in teacher-led reviews, this is more like teacher to student, and then the teacher again, then the student again, uh, and so on. Like this. This is more like a chain from teacher student, like as shown here. Uh, there are usually a few student voices among the lecture, the review in this one. It might be like statement to statement, question to statement, question to answer. And in student presentations, it's usually like it might change if it's like a group presentation, but I took a individual presentation here. It's usually like student, student, student. This might go on even further, and then the teacher. The teacher is usually the main audience in this, along with the other students that are watching the presentation. Uh, this is more like the student presenting his presentation and then the teacher reviewing the presentation from that student. Next, there's student-led small groups. This is This includes multiple students, as we can see in the first one, student 1, student 2, then student 1 again, then to student 3. This might change depending on how many people there are or how many people are responsible in talking, stating something. This is like peer-to-peer interaction, and it usually works in an exchangement of knowledge. Next, we have listening roles. Uh, According to this, participation isn't only speaking, and listening is also participation. There are types of listeners according to Goffman from also the MOOC. There are ratified listeners, which are the official audience. For example, the students during a lecture in a classroom. And there are unratified listeners, like bystanders, overhearers, or eavesdroppers. They are not directly addressed, but they're still influential because listening, like I said, is also part of the participation in a classroom. In the classroom, during lectures, students are ratified listeners mostly, and during group works, the teacher becomes an unratified listener and stands as a bystander. He just listens and observes. The teacher listening can subtly change the language choice, the topic focus, and the student behavior for the classroom, since there's a teacher overseeing the classroom environment and how the students work. Next, there is underlife or the backstage of classroom talk. According to this, silence isn't no participation, and class talk is layered. Uh, According to Goffman's statement from the MOOC, underlife is the unofficial parallel talk beneath the main lesson, and this happens through whispering, notes, side conversations, or even texting among students. This is kind of like under and headline under the lecture teacher is giving. The students interact with themselves, as I've said in this slide, uh, without including most of the classroom and happening through usually a small group. This is the parallel talk with that's beneath the main lesson because it's still mostly about the lesson, but it happens unofficially. And why this matters is because the students process their ideas in a backstage, and this is a low risk space for the test answers, clarified meanings, and it's also a space to stay engaged without public exposure, so they wouldn't lose their motivation and self, assessment. uh, and underlife can be on task, so like a resource for debating content in classroom, and it's mostly tangential but still meaningful because it's still a knowledge exchanging in among the students. And next we have individual repertoires within participant structures. The participant structures we mentioned shape how students speak, which language they speak feel appropriate, like peer talk or school talk, which can go from more personal and emotional to factual and formal. Students may shift that language mid sentence, mid speech, and so on. I will be mentioning two language tenses, which are factual language, which is objective, passive, and numerical, that use no, I, my, myself, which is just true statements and nothing else. And there's also emotional language that we use to show feelings, evaluations, overlaps, and our enthusiasm. We give our own opinions. This is more like a personal speech. And the different structures invite different stances, which create this different environment in the classroom according to what the context is. And why this matters is because emotion often drives intellectual work, and welcoming this emotion can increase our participation, connect learning to students' lives, so it makes a more relatable environment in the classroom, so the students uh, participate better, understand better. And the power of personalization is personal opinions humanize content, and you can ask questions like how do we dream or where do dreams come from, as an example. Giving personal opinions is something that's used in even scientific researches, opinions from knowledgeable people. Personal opinions add life to our speech and what the content we're uh, standing on. And this is all from me for today. Thank you for listening.